So what is going on? Okay, guys, like this video I wanted to do briefly. If you see me in this shirt or this attire, just understand that when I drop videos, a lot of times I tend to do it in like one day and I just do multiple videos. But I just wanted to get to this really quick about like high vibes. Okay. And I know that a lot of times it sounds cliche. You know, I tend to think a lot of stuff sounds cliche when I start to hear it a little bit too much, like every time something becomes mainstream. But at the same time, I realize I have to get rid of that type of mindset because that's the only way. The goal is for the collective to learn, right? So, okay, why not? But I just kind of feel like at the same time too, people, they like using terminology. They like being in the it, like of, hey, we're in the it crowd or the crowd that knows what's going on, and they just use terminology and they don't really look or seek to actually work on themselves or change things for themselves. They really don't. Although I'm not scolding anybody in this video, but what I am saying, a lot of the stuff cliche, however, is facts. People these days, or just people in general, this I didn't even say these days, because a lot of this stuff that we hear about and see happen or experience, it's being things that's been out for so long. Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun of this paradigm, this solar system. But once we start enlightening ourselves and breaking free of previous patterns and concepts and understandings and you know, start to evolve. And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally. Our brain, start using more of our brain's capacity, then of course like things in our physical will change as well. Okay, but you know, so with that being said, the point that I'm trying to make is that people, they're so stuck on, you know, if someone's doing, because you have spiritual knowledge or something like that, it's like, oh well, this person is doing voodoo or they're doing dark magic or they're doing magic, whatever. People are afraid of their brain's capacity because that's really where the magic lies. I will keep saying that until the day. I will keep saying, calling myself a magician because of that alone. So if entities, I want you to understand, if entities, demonic spirits, energy vampire in spirit form, people that's mirroring us, because like a lot of times the more people you have coming up in your surroundings and you're not working with them for a specific reason, you're not teaching them anything, you're not being that light for them, like to lead them somewhere. And this is you specifically knowing that that's what you're doing, okay? Not getting it mixed up and thinking that it's something else. You know specifically that this is what this relationship and this interaction between me and this individual or these individuals are. So the reason why these interactions with these people are coming up is because they're coming up quick, because it's like, well, as soon as you get rid of one situation, as soon as you win a battle against this other situation, here comes something else. And you're just like, I swear to God, I feel like I just experienced that. But what makes the change and what makes it different is your response to it. I will keep saying that. And it's usually connected to your emotional state of being and your mental state of being, and how you're controlling your emotions, and then how you are thinking about why you're controlling your emotions and what you're going to do different because of the effects that something has on you, or because of the enlightenment that you have received. And you know, I know that I have heard people deem individuals that control their emotions real well, that have mastered certain aspects of that. I have heard people refer to those people as like evil, like they're insensitive, they don't care about other people, they don't know how to be empathetic towards other people or whatever. But I just find that to be untrue. I feel like you can be more empowered and do and be these things for individuals. But you don't have to be their slave. You don't have to be enslaved to these individuals because of their experiences, because of you having to understand them and where they come from. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to always understand someone and where they're coming from in order to make a judgment on, okay, well, do I need to help this person or not? I see people all the time that I pass by in the streets, never seen the person or talked to the person, or I could have seen them around, you know, asking for money or whatever, but never really talked to the person. Never really, I don't know anything about the person's personal life, but I might give them some money or something because that's what I want to do. I don't need to know their backstory to know, like, hey, I want to give to this person or this situation, you know. But at the same time, that person doesn't control me or own me because they're homeless or faking homeless, being homeless. I don't know. You know, they don't control me by their experience, because there's always parts of me that looks at them like, okay, that's you're choosing to do this experience this way. But at the same time, I'm not giving to them just based alone on the fact that, well, I feel sorry for them, because my emotions are so caught up into feeling sorry for them and see them as a victim. No, it's more like, okay, well, hey, I have to, you see this money, you see, it's like a mental thing. Like, you see these possessions, you see, like, this could be me, this could be any of us, you know, and this is like my releasing, this is me giving, this is me letting go of things, because we're all in this experience here. Now, it's mentally, that money doesn't own me. I don't want a negative relationship with that money. It's a material thing. That means that I'm going to get my needs met in another way. A lot of people look at it as, oh man, you could have saved that $1. You could have saved that $5. For what? A meal at McDonald's? Like, I don't understand. So the point that I'm trying to make is that once you start re-examining the relationships that you are having with other people, things, yourself, you automatically start making those decisions to do things differently, and then automatically you start vibing higher. Not that you're better than the person, but you vibe different. With your vibing, everything is energy. That's how you can hear stuff, sounds bounce off of things, you know. But yeah, so there's nothing really. What is holding you hostage is your emotional attachment to these things. And sometimes even the way that people are thinking about things, you know. But once you are vibing at a certain place, automatically things fall off of you. Spirits that are feeding off of your distress, that are holding you back, holding you hostage because of the way that you think about stuff. So you have so many people that sitting up there stressed and in situations that they don't really want to be in, but because they're like, oh my God, people are going to think this is a way about me or that way about me, or I can't do it because I got to look this way, I got to look that way. Those people are holding themselves hostage based on their thinking capacity. And then they judge others and they want to hold others hostage with them. So they form these cliques, they form these groups with other individuals that's kind of reflecting back to them what they're living and what they're like, so that then their world is true. So they don't have to keep challenging it. It's like, oh, well, it must be right. It must be real because these other people are doing it. Start vibing, things melt off automatically, and it takes a thought, like a simple thought and an action. Sometimes your action don't even have to be there, you know, but what fuels this is this thought and the action behind it, because you're just like, okay, well, and then it automatically starts changing your emotions. Okay, then we use the emotions for manifestation purposes, because it's, you know, I really am a firm believer that when I hear people say all the time, like the stuff like the powers that be, you know, the whole goal is to cause or have a crisis going on so that they can kind of manipulate or control the dynamic of like the way people regulate themselves in their emotions. Because let's just put it this way, you could be thinking something all day, and not to mention, guys, when you go into like what you're learning, oh my god, that type of stuff can keep you stuck on the most basic level, you know. But it's one thing when you are in a crisis, right? Or no, you're thinking a certain way. You're thinking a certain way, but then it's like you're feeling a different way. That could, a lot of people could be like, okay, but that's just the natural course of life, you know, especially if, you know, let's say that with the changes of the moon gets a different type of fluctuation or change in emotions. That's one thing. I get that. I get that. But imagine really being in tune with that, because just because the moon switches positions a lot and we're getting different emotions, different feelings behind that, it doesn't necessarily mean that our, you know, our feelings and emotions that comes up, it could just be something that naturally guides us into what we're supposed to be working on, how we're supposed to be conducting ourselves, what is it that we're supposed to be putting our attention to, right? But you know, speaking of the powers that be and things of that nature, if you keep someone thinking one way but feeling another way, it's based on what they got to do, what they believe. First of all, we're going to say what they believe they have to do. That's very important, because a lot of stuff people out here doing, they don't even really got to do. There's nothing really telling them that this is what they got to do, except for like certain systems. And I keep telling people, because people believe that predicting something, I can predict something right now and write it down and utilize it over time. Okay. And you will see, if you don't see all those predictions come true, you can see a lot of them become true through a scientific approach of what's going to happen. Now, mind you, you know, it's, you know, so these systems that get set up and and are put in place also are predictors. They fulfill the prediction, if that makes sense. I don't want to get too deep into that. I'll make that for another video. But what I'm trying to say is that people are out here thinking and doing things based on what they believe. It doesn't have to be true. It can be true, it can be untrue. It doesn't matter at a certain point. But it can cause fluctuations in the mental stability versus the emotional stability. And I'm going to tell you, with all the programming that we have undergone, it's very hard. You have to be a person that's actively aware. You have to be a person that's conscious of this, and this is where I lose people. And actively aware of, this is what you're working on. You know, this is what, it's like I have to work on getting my thoughts and emotions together. I can give you one example of what I'm talking about. So if I am being challenged with a choice that I'm about to make, or that I need to make, versus what I was expected of me to make by others, or how I expect to make it versus my surroundings or whatever, but I'm feeling like, okay, my thinking is not being conducive to what it is I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to go. I have to then challenge my thoughts in my mental state of being or my mental thought process of surrounding a certain situation. Like, is this true? Do I have to be this way? Do I have to act this way? Do I have to believe this situation versus that situation and the results? Do I have to believe that? And then once I can tell it to myself and enlighten myself and become aware of the fact that I don't have to, then emotionally I can make another choice. Emotionally I can my emotions can work together with my mind, because on an intuitive level my emotions know how I want to feel or what I need to be feeling. It's when we go against that, the problems really occur and they stay there. And then you get on certain medications, and I'm definitely not necessarily speaking against that right now, but I'm just telling you, a medication or anything right now, but I'm just telling you certain medications can suppress one and not the other, or suppress one and not the other, and you're still not, what you get is like an altered state of yourself to where you can function on autopilot, so something else can kind of be in control. So it's still not, you still get a different experience, because even if you are feeling like, oh, well, I'm having good things coming to me, or I'm enjoying my life right now, you can't really be enjoying your life right now, because you're undergoing certain emotional and mental restraints. And it's really quite powerful. And getting to this awareness is where a lot of inclination and frequency comes about. Mind you, I get it on the religious side of things, and on a nationality side of things. Religion is more of a byproduct of our identity and the system that falls up under that. Although people can use it for a way to have an emotional bond to something, to signify some sort of special significance to their identity, and to what they feel is like, I'm having a spiritual relationship. I'm having a, because the soul is always aware. The soul, I don't care, whenever we're in our bodies, the soul is always making the body aware, like, okay, you're more than just this physical thing. And because you're more than just this physical thing, you seek experiences outside of this physical thing. So you will be having these spiritual inclinations, whether there's a religion there or not, or what type versus the other. And I really think people have to understand that to begin to move beyond the enslavement of these things. Like, even when we're talking about wars and different things like that, when you really dig deep under it, it's more than just, like, I believe in my spiritual existence. It gets very technical about who governs what land, who has ownership, what systems were mixed together due to being involved with each other, that gives certain people certain rights, etc. But the emotional, personal relationship fuels, the emotions behind it fuels everything else. You're coming against my belief in my God and this and this and that. I will fight you over it. If you can remove those components and look at things very logical, you can see how everything's taking place. And this could be easily resolved. And sometimes these people come to war, or these entities, however you want to put it. But no, it can really, you're putting yourself in a position to be controlled by entities, but no, really what you start to understand is like, no, let's fix this through knowledge, enlightenment, education. You know, it may take some time, but it ain't gonna take it ain't gonna take that much time. Because once you start feeding the next generation that's coming after you knowledge, and not just any knowledge, the knowledge that matters for them, and the knowledge that represents something, to have some type of meaning and purpose, you know, it doesn't take them long before they start acting out. What knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take long before they start acting out or living in a way that is conducive to that knowledge that they have or that they received. So it's harder for the emotions to penetrate a certain level of knowledge. You gotta really think about that. Because that's when you get to the point to where you're just like, I don't really gotta fight you over this, this, and that in that physical sense. Just by what I know, I can fight you. So, and that is really what frequency, elevation, vibration, vibes, you know, that is what that really represents. That's really what this is about. That's really what, you know, building that, increasing that. That's what it's about. It's an energetic blueprint that physically shows up in this reality. You know what I'm saying? It goes from the reality to outward, from outward back down into the reality. And the soul, you know, when the soul is off kilter with this body, the soul is going to try so many ways to be like, okay, wake up. Like, you got to understand this, and that. And then we block that based on, you know, what we have access to knowledge-wise. And bound ourselves in karma. And when you can't, that's the curse right there. Y'all keep want to talk fugazi stuff. Y'all want to come at me with some fugazi stuff like I'm sitting up here coming at people with. I don't got to come at people with nothing. I don't know not one spell. I keep telling you this. That's where the magic is at, because I don't follow none of that stuff. I'm not down to people that do, but I'm just saying, like, we are the operators of it all. Of all of these systems. But the point I'm trying to make is that the curse right there, and when you damn your generations, you damn your generations with ignorance. You damn your generations that come after you because of the effed up choices you made when you had power, when you had access to information. You fumbled the bag, you fumbled the ball, because you choose to be mentally imprisoned and enslaved, because you choose to follow. Listen, this, when I'm saying I get it. Some people have to, like, I get it. Some people are, you know, they feel like they have to in so many ways, and I understand that. So I'm not, don't take this personal, but I'm telling you, I still got to give you the juice. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you choose to, what ends up happening is you become enslaved to your own, or to whatever that is, that thought process is. Okay? And you could become locked into that. And then you project that same information, knowledge, behaviors onto the generations that's after you, and that curse keeps going on. Karma, locked in. Once you start breaking free from that and expansion takes place, then you start unlocking yourself, breaking free from the ignorance associated with karma. Because it's like, okay, well, it's just like, and people want to test me on this. It's just like you going to school, you sending your child to school, and they not producing nothing, no type of skill set, no type of nothing that's saying, okay, I'm trying to pass this current grade that I'm in to go to the next one. They not doing anything, not nothing, not Nathan. But you want to go argue with the teacher and tell the teacher, oh, well, my child should be in that really my child should be in the 8th grade. Could you be right? Probably so. But is your child really producing what it is required to produce to say, okay, just by actions, just by, you know, demonstrating that the capabilities are there? If not, you can't go convince anybody else otherwise. But once your child, let's say you get a child the help that it needs, or maybe it was just a case of anxiety, depression, whatever spell, your child is very shy, I don't know. Whatever spell that is going through, and I say spell because people don't understand that spells, things that you're saying and placing over your life, you know what I'm saying, more than anything, or a person's thought process over anything, over many things, due to things that they believe, things that they've been told, and they're acting it out, or because of actual mental disabilities. You're going through a spell of something. That means that it doesn't have to necessarily be forever. Even if whatever your condition is surpasses it is here for this lifetime. Once you leave that body, that spell of events is over. But until the child is demonstrating mastery, meaning enlightenment, it's demonstrating the knowledge that it possesses. And like I said, you could be right, and the child starts performing on the 8th grade level, and they're in the 6th grade, they might move your child up to the level that is more than likely they will. You have a valid argument. Or your child is demonstrating enough to say, okay, well, fine, we can now pass them on to the next level. It's the same thing with our journey here in our soul. Knowing, like, no, baby, you ain't demonstrating, baby, you not demonstrating mastery over what you got going on this physical plane. You're not demonstrating mastery, because if you were, you would pass the test. And we don't need you just to pass the test because you think that you just God like that. You think that you just hand it over, because we switched dimension. We switched energetic switch into a different system, really, that they're trying to build up. Like the physical, as above so below, has to end up matching that energetic shift. So you can't, it's not enough just to say that you was like, oh, well, I had my problems and I gave it on over. No, that ain't enough. You have to actually be demonstrating that you yourself has taken charge. And these are going to be for like the really enlightened people. These are going to be for the individuals that's focusing. It doesn't matter what you're doing in this lifetime and how you're living and blase, but you keep coming back and you're refocusing back to yourself. Like you're going out, you're having fun with your friends, which you might be in a relationship, whatever. A lot of times I feel like the people that are loners, or they face this journey head on, you are going to get this faster, and you're going to start living in this new shift and benefiting from it faster than other people who are deciding to delude themselves and to avoid what they have to do based on the fact with just through other people and keeping themselves busy and just, that's the difference. But yeah, I just wanted to make that very clear. Me, y'all, I actively work on, I'm not the person that's here trying to necessarily build another system. I can do it just by being present with my energy and just doing things that need to be done like that in my life and demonstrating that to other people. And they can question me if they want to. They have answers that they have questions they want me to answer, or they can just see my life and be like, okay, well, dang, I'm trying to live like that. And, for the ones who do, I feel like that is teaching within itself through example, instead of like talk, but you not showing, like you ain't demonstrating nothing. And I'm not one of the ones. I'm kind of like that person that is already at the place I need to be. Like I see other people, they got to do their thing. They have to do their thing, but I'm just not really in that place to where I'm trying to you know, prove anything to anybody or argue with anybody. It's just, I'm more of like this. Like if I, even in relationship, the side of relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like I have the understanding to know that when I'm feeling like I want to be near a body, okay, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know how to get near a body. You know, because I don't feel, you know, I don't want to be lonely at this moment. I need my back rubbed. You hear what I'm saying? I'm not going to be here trying to avoid that. I want love or I want attention from someone. I'm not going to be doing that. That's just not my thing. I'm just saying, when I feel like I need to be on my grind, I'm going to be on my grind. When I feel like I need to work on myself, I'm going to work on myself. It's about understanding that it ain't just one thing. It's a balance of that all. It's a balance of all things, showing and demonstrating the mastery that you have and the awareness that you have, the enlightenment that you have, that you're tending to all levels independently, in order to project it back, you know, and reflect it back out into to create these new energetic templates, you know. But anyways, I'm going to stop right there. But I just wanted to, you know, really go over this because I see, you not on, like people people that I come in contact with, that I may have conversations with. I see this. I see people talking about this too, you know, when they're talking about oh, you know, I'm stuck in these entities and the, you know, I get it. But at the same time, yeah, you know, when you, of course, the whole thing is to get you to not see your enlightenment and to not take that enlightenment process, because you're just like, okay, I'm fearful. What am I supposed to do? I don't know if I can handle this. You're not really dealing with things head on. Okay, so I'm Butterfly to Light. You know I will be back. So you already know you need to subscribe to the channel. I get all these bings and blings and bangs interrupting my video. Okay, I'll be back. Peace.